Hello everyone, Mercury is going in retrograde motion from Jan the 15th until the 4th of Feb 2022. When Buddha or Mercury turns retrograde, so many things in our lives simply unravel right in front of us. But the good news this time is that Mercury's position and the position of Saturn as well make this a very special blessing in disguise. So let me tell you about this. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. If the video's good, give it a thumbs up. Let's begin. So Mercury in Capricorn is in a neutral position for Mercury. It's neither a good nor a bad placement. And actually Saturn is a great friend to Mercury in conjunction with him as the transit begins. But here's the thing, Saturn will put a lot of pressure onto Mercury. He will demand that Mercury comes up to scratch, and all of a sudden everybody's going to feel this pressure. In some area of your life, you're being made to make a decision, make a choice, put your cards on the table. And most definitely, everybody will really find that all of a sudden they're becoming really cautious. And this caution can be a definite good thing, everybody, because as soon as Jan the 15th comes or thereafter, all of a sudden you'll be having second thoughts about some particular area of your life. You'll see some blocks coming up, some roadblocks that were not there before, and it's a bit startling, but actually it gives you pause for thought. Capricorn, extremely practical sign. So Mercury here, under the influence of Saturn, will make you look at all the fine details in your life, and I promise you, you'll see some things that definitely need to be fixed. If you're having transactions during this time, business deals are going to get stalled, most definitely. So hold track until after the combustion period, I'll talk about in a minute, which means that after Mercury has conjuncted with the Sun, you get the information you need to make that big business decision. But avoid signing documents, everybody, until Mercury goes direct to make sure it's going to be satisfactory. Otherwise, people can pull out of deals, people can have second thoughts, and people can be left stranded, literally. So it's less likely this time, though, I have to say, because Mercury in Capricorn makes everybody cautious, both sides of any business deal. If you're a student also trying to get government help or government backing, there's going to be definite delays around this retrograde period. And for everybody, for sure, travel is not advised when Mercury goes retrograde. It's unavoidable, though, that you're going to have to travel, but expect delays and you'll be less frustrated when they occur. On the world stage, though, what a lineup of energy is occurring. The Sun is the king, the ruler, and Saturn is the people, and Capricorn is a sign of the government, and Mercury is stuck in between here, a mighty clash between the people, represented by Shani, and the Sun, the rulers. Thus, some mighty clash over legislation, over government policy, which is going to come to a head in the next month or two, particularly when other planets come ahead, particularly Mars, of course, and come into Capricorn. I'll be talking about that when I do my next Mars transit video. Look out for that soon. Mars going into Sagittarius, but eventually forming a stellium of planets in Capricorn. I've actually mentioned that in my year predictions. It's one of the crisis points coming up on the 28th of Feb. So it's building up to that now as the Sun prepares the ground in this clash with Saturn. So governments are going to be doing major U-turns probably. They're going to be reconsidering legislation already there and, well, basically changing it around a bit because of pressure from the people. So Mercury here, though, is caught in the middle, and Mercury is going to make everybody rethink certain policies. So definitely expect a lot of shifting in the halls of power during this Mercury retrograde transit. So there's a lot of caution in everybody's life right now with this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, but it's a good caution. It's a good factor. Shani will show us a much more practical solution to our problems than we could ever have considered. And the key dates for that are as follows. Circle the dates in your diary very carefully, everybody. The 23rd and 24th of January, when Mercury Buddha comes into combustion with the Sun Surya. Now, this is talked about in the Vedic literature, that when this happens, Surya gives a very special and mystical message to Mercury at this time. And this happens to everybody. It's a very subtle factor. In everybody's life, some new information becomes available to you. In some area of your life, you're startled by seeing something that you didn't see before, that you didn't understand before. Sometimes it can actually come through other people. Sometimes even in a dream, you can experience this new intuition and information. Listen to it carefully. It will open up the door to your forward motion in your life. Let's read now from your moon sign and ascendant. Don't forget, we're using the Vedic sidereal positions. If you have a Western chart, you must take away 23 degrees from your moon and your ascendant position to make sure you're reading the correct sign. Let's begin. For Aries Moon and Aries Lagna both, Mercury can be tricky for you. He's your third and sixth lord. He gets you into some contentious situations, and it's all happening in your career, in your job, in your status situation. There's a curveball coming your way, something a little bit unexpected. It's like a roadblock, but it's good. Here's the thing. You won't feel it that way. You'll be frustrated, annoyed, argumentative. It'll all come out. But the good news is this curveball is going to slow you down from potentially taking a wrong move. So listen to the sounds that are coming to you. Listen to what people are saying to you rather than arguing, because Aries, you're just about to take the step in the wrong direction, and Mercury retrograde is actually in Capricorn going to save the day for you. And because Mercury aspects also the fourth house of your chart, is going to cause contention in your domestic situation as well. You may be forced to work from home or to change working from home, or something is upsetting your home life as well, causing you distress. If you're trying to move home, it's going to be stalled in some way. If you've got a new property deal or anything to do with home improvements, it's once again going to be stalled. But all of this stalling is good, Aries. Be patient. It's going to show you a silver lining. Taurus Moon, Taurus Lagna. Mercury is a good planet for you. He's your second lord. Your family affairs go well normally when he supports you, and he also brings money into your life. And he's your fifth lord of creative thoughts and education. He's gone into the ninth house now, retrograde, but with Shani, who is a favorable planet for you. So you're going to probably feel more at ease with this transit than many people. There will be delays in communication with foreign lands. With anything to do with arranging foreign travel, expect it to completely stall and have to be rearranged. It's going to be delays talking to father's family. Maybe they'll be undergoing difficulty also. And miscommunication with everybody who's connected to education. So if you're a student, this is probably going to be the most difficult factor. But for everybody else, it's not going to be too troublesome. It's possible, though, that you have to make an important decision around financial and family affairs, and this may connect to your children if you have them as well. And this should be taken very cautiously. Be very cautious about family affairs, making swift judgments, etc. And anything to do with speculation is not favored at this time, since Mercury is your fifth house lord. But here's the thing, Mercury aspecting third house, there can be contention with your siblings, contention with ideas that you've wanted to put forward and that people who you are working with do not support. This is a house of your intellectual ideas. So if you are studying anything, it may not be higher education, but any sort of metaphysical course or anything to do with higher learning, that's going to be a little bit tricky now, because you feel that your needs are not being met, and it may be financial also. So students, hold back. Don't drop out of the course just because of financial problems. Wait and hear what lies in store. You're not being given the right message. And the same applies to Taurians. If there are issues with your children, once again, you don't have the right information until the middle of the transit. Gemini Moon, Gemini Lagna. When your Lord Mercury goes retrograde, it's a chance for you to reassess a situation and make a new decision. And nothing could be more true than this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. And it's impacting the 8th house of your chart, opposing to the 2nd house of finance, family affairs. So this is everything to do with making business affairs, if you're in business, in a new direction, putting everything on a new footing. If you're not in business, it's about your joint finances with your spouse, or your savings, investments, and everything to do with how you're making money work for you in life. Basically, it's a time for a complete reshuffle of your debts, of your priorities, and it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. But Mercury retrograde for you means that you make a very snazzy business or otherwise financial decision during this time. You see, Mercury is also the lord of your 4th house, and therefore when he comes 5 houses away, you do something creative with your home life. You suddenly find a solution to an immovable factor in your domestic situation, which has been causing you problems. If you're trying to relocate, move, find a new living situation, though, you've got to go back to go forward. So it's calm down, see how the dice play out for you, Gemini, because whatever changes in your monetary situation or domestic situation, actually, in the next few weeks, it's going to work out well for you. It's going to mean that you cut your losses and move on in a much more flexible way. For Cancer Moon and Cancer Lagna, Mercury is always tricky for you. He's your 12th house lord and your 3rd house lord. So he brings a lot of difficult situations, challenges, losses, quarrels, and ego conflicts into your life. He also is an enemy, actually, to your lord, the moon. So I'd probably say that for your sign, it's going to be the most tricky situation of any sign, because Mercury is actually in the 7th house of your chart retrograde. He's in a Morikastana position, a very weak position. Now, this could be good and bad, depending on how you work with it. But generally, it's going to be a bit tricky. Here's the thing. Because he's with Shani, who is already challenging your ascendant or your moon sign, bringing challenging relationship situations, losses in your business, and all sorts of roadblocks in your life. He's just going to increase anxiety in your life in the next few weeks. What's going to happen is serious conversations with others in your life, very close personal friends, spouse, intimate relationships, girlfriend, boyfriend, or even business partner. Anybody close to you in your life is going to be throwing some curveballs your way, is going to be saying things in a way that actually don't make any sense to you at all. So much miscommunication and misunderstanding going on. You're just going to feel like running away somewhere to hide during the next few weeks. Here's the good news. Mercury here is your 12th house lord. Coming into this house, he brings you the information about what is working in your life and what is not working. But you see, half of the time, it's your own worries, concerns, and insecurities that actually blinds you to the truth of who supports you. So people who really support you make themselves known now. People who have your best interests at heart also come out of the woodwork at this time. Turn to them. It's the definite best thing to do. For Leo Moon and Leo Lagna, Mercury is a difficult planet for you sometimes when he gets himself into a compromising position like he is now. He's the 11th house lord of your income and the 2nd lord of your possessions and your financial situation. So this is a very financially insecure transit for you. The next 3 weeks are going to have yourself pulling your hair out over what's happening financially, but it's going to work out amazingly well. What's happening is a huge amount of miscommunication going on with your family, with your work colleagues, and you're feeling completely misunderstood and totally frustrated. Expenses in your life are spiraling out of control because of Mercury's aspect to the 12th house of loss. Just try to calm down, Leo. Don't lose your temper. Mercury is your 2nd house of speech. You could be tempted to say things you cannot unsay. The most tempting and most difficult part of the transit, hold your tongue. Don't say those words that keep spilling out, because this Mercury transit will actually show you gain in the end where it seems to show you loss. So if promotion seems stalled, if new job opportunities seem to be just falling away, hold tight. It's not the right place for you. It's going to become very clear to you that you've had a lucky escape. So hold tight, Leo. And as I say, watch your speech, be calm, and most importantly, watch your health. This is going to impact your stress level tremendously. If there's any new health problem, once again, be patient and take second consultations, get different opinions. You will find that things are not so bad as they seem. Virgo Moon and Virgo Lagna. When your Lord Mercury goes retrograde, it basically sends you a little bit potty for a few weeks because nothing is working the way it should. You just can't make it work, and you normally get to grips with problems immediately and sort them. But no matter how much you try to sort the problems in these next 3 weeks, they just get more and more entangled. And what are these problems? They're about your creative solutions to your life right now. You've been thinking very laterally recently, coming up with some ingenious ideas, and you've been thinking of how to make new profit in your life, new income even, and hoping for a new job opportunity, many of you, with this opposition Mercury to your 11th house. Unfortunately, it's going to come unstuck with some curveball coming your way, but don't worry. You will probably find that any interview, any job opportunity was not what it seemed. You're not losing out. You're actually putting yourself ready for a much more suitable opportunity. Generally speaking, Virgos need that chill pill during this transit because your ruler Mercury also aspecting the 11th house. There's going to be misunderstandings, missed assignments with your friends, all sorts of things that are going to be said that you wished hadn't been said. And it's going to make you feel really tense and ill at ease during this time. But it's your network circles and your friendship circles that bring you the information you need by Mercury's aspect onto this house during this transit. So listen out to friendship circles, colleague circles. They've got information which you need to hear. Those of you trying to start a family at this time may have unusual delays due to Mercury turning retrograde, but after he goes direct 4th of Feb, they should sort out. And if you do have children, unusual situations developing in their life give you some stress, but once again, they should smooth out if you are patient with them. Things are not as bad as they seem to be. Finally, though, avoid speculative gain. Now, this is not something which Virgos normally go for, but in case you are tempted at this time, Mercury retrograde shows that you will regret speculation at this time. For Libra, Moon and Lagna, Mercury rules your 12th house. He brings worries and expenses to you, but your 9th house and shows you the way to a happy solution to them. So he's a bit of a strange planet in your life, and he's gone retrograde in the 4th house of your job, but you need not worry. He's a great friend to your Lord Venus, and actually, although he's going to give you some very unsettling moments in your domestic situation, a real headache basically in the next 3 weeks, it's going to work out probably far better than you could expect. But with the Sun and Saturn and Mercury in the 4th house, if you're thinking of moving, buying property, or anything to do with home affairs, making big changes, readjustments, repairs, etc., they're just going to be delayed. There's going to be something coming up that you didn't expect, some problem with the property deal, some big issue with a domestic situation that's going to seem to be giving you an insurmountable headache. But if you're patient, Libra, with these delays, I promise you'll be glad they've happened, because although they can be frustrating, they will actually show you unknown factors that you did not know about that make you glad that you had time to see them through. If you are a student, by the way, Mercury is your studying house as well and shows accommodation on your course. So then there can be big delays happening in your accommodation, changes outside of your control. Once again, be patient. It will certainly work out very, very shortly. But there can also be difficulties and unexpected developments with your family as a whole, and even with your mother. Watch out for these, but again, they will work out well. You will find information you've needed to know. Mercury aspect on the 10th house shows that job opportunities you've been hoping to develop seem to be stalling right in front of you. What you've been hoping to do in your job is just not happening. But that again is a good blessing for you. Listen to what other people say in your workplace. Listen carefully. You will find some very important information that will open up opportunities for you. For Scorpio Moon and Scorpio Lagna, Mercury retrograde in your 3rd house is going to put your life into a bit of a spin in terms of communication. Who with? With your friends, with your network circles. And many times it will also be all sorts of mishaps happening in business deals and financial situations. So the biggest advice of this Mercury retrograde is hold fire with financial factors. Some of you may have had an interview lined up because it's your 11th house lord involved, and a big financial shift is about to occur in your life. Some rearrangement of your investments, savings, pensions, whatever it is you've got there, you're going to change them, but you're going to have to stop in your tracks because things are not what they seem with these opportunities. Expect all sorts of miscommunication, misinformation, and difficulty with your siblings at this time, and definitely with your father. Miscommunications, misunderstandings are very likely to occur. But watch your speech, because Mercury in this house makes you sharp with your speech, cutting as you can often be with your speech, and you could do a lot of harm with this. Watch this, it could go against you. And finally, if you are traveling, take extra caution. Mercury, third house aspecting ninth house of foreign travel, foreign lands. Travel just goes a little bit haywire during these next 3 weeks. Be prepared for this and avoid, if you can do so, unnecessary travel. But the good news is that Mercury likes to be in this third house. So actually, you'll be very busy during this Mercury in Capricorn time. You're going to be extra busy sourcing out new sources of income, new savings accounts, new ways to invest, and most of all, new skill base, because this is the actual house of skills in our lives. So you'll be sourcing out some new skill planned for yourself, some new way to skill yourself up for your future. So anything to do with self-employment or anything about training is really favored now, but it's just the planning stage, and that's the most important factor. Sagittarius, Moon and Lagna, your financial affairs are about to get quite complicated because Mercury is your 7th house lord and very much not an easy planet for you. So other people, business partners, spouse, close friends are coming up with ideas for your finances, but look at them really carefully. They're probably not exactly the right thing at the moment. If you have a business partnership, well, there's going to be a major confrontation going on between you and your business partner at this time, because Mercury retrograde, 2nd house, shows that things are not working out between you and there's a big misunderstanding happening. With your family finance as well, it's touch and go because things are just not working out correctly and all of your investments and savings need to be revised. Some information comes up to you and you see that they're completely not correct for you at this time. It's important to hold tight, though, with this new information coming your way. Just don't make a precipitous move. Don't let yourself be pushed into a corner. Wait it out. It's difficult for you to do, I know, but try to do this. And then after this whole 3-week period is gone, and actually Mercury is going forward again into your 3rd house, you'll be able to make the correct financial decisions, because shiny 2nd house is putting a lot of financial stress onto you now, and you just want to get it off your shoulders by just basically shifting everything completely, but it will be the wrong move. So sit with things and see how they pan out. Watch your health as well. Watch your food intake at this time. Mercury retrograde in the 2nd house of food intake. You could have food poisoning. You could take something in which is not really good for you. Watch what you're eating. And you may need to completely change some sort of diet regime as well. Capricorn, Moon and Lagna, Mercury retrograde in the 1st house of your chart, together with the Sun present and Shani, your Lord, means that you are the one who is definitely having second thoughts about something during this period. Now, Mercury is your 6th house lord, so this could be anything to do with your working life, your general job pattern. It could also be to do with higher education if you are in education, or anything to do with foreign lands and religious experience. Whatever it is, you're having doubts. You're having doubts about something which you believe in, something which you've committed to, and your whole job experience seems to be chaotic and not a suitable environment for you. but hold fire, even though some of you want to just hand in your notice right now. You've just had enough. It's the last straw. Whatever's happening, it's just too much. Hold on, because there's secret information. There's new information coming to you, as I've said, because Mercury around the 23rd, 24th in combustion with the sun in your first house will show you this hidden information to help you to make a correct decision. As well as this, because Mercury aspects the 7th house of your chart, this applies equally to your relationship, spousal relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, even close friends. There is information coming from them to you, and you are speaking openly to them in a way that you've not done for some time. These conversations need to happen, and they will rebalance your life. So stay calm. There may seem to be quarrels, misinformation, even mistrust with your nearest and dearest, but you're going to overcome them with patience in this Mercury retrograde period. For Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Lagna, it's going quite well for you now with Jupiter in the first house of your chart. You're optimistic and forward-looking and expansive in your life. And then all of a sudden, Mercury turns retrograde in your 12th house and you begin to have a few doubts. What are these doubts all about? Well, basically, it's about your program of study, 5th house indications, children perhaps, having children, not having children, or situations developing with your children now, and everything to do with your plans for the future as well in regard to your finances with your partner. There's some new information coming to bear that makes you doubt you've actually got the whole plan right at all. Basically, Mercury, the sun, which is Lord of your partner, 7th house, and Shani, your Lord, all in the 12th house, there's quite a bit of secret information coming to bear that's going to have a real chin wag between you and your partner to bear all this out. Basically, you're seeing that financial situations are far more involved than either of you thought, and cutbacks are becoming very clearly necessary. Same applies if you have a new relationship developing, because Sun is your 7th Lord. In this house could indicate separation happening. There could be distance between you. It doesn't mean that you're going to break up, but there's distance now between you. Travel has to be there to even get together. And it's making you think, is this the right relationship for you? But any difficulties that you are having with any relationship situation now, sit tight with it. It's not what it seems to be, whether it's marriage, potential partner, new relationship. It's not what it seems to be right now. Let this Mercury transit bring you the information you need to hear. And you will be seeing everything in a completely different light by the time Mercury moves right forward into your own sign. That won't be long at all. It goes without saying, with so many planets in the 12th house of your chart in this way, aspecting the 6th house of health, your health's going to be a little bit touch and go during this time because of stress and even subconscious pressure. The fears building up inside of you are going to completely dissipate, though, which will help your health immensely. When Mercury goes forward into the 1st house of your chart after the 4th of Feb, all of these health concerns should clear up tremendously. For Pisces Moon, Pisces Lagna, quite a trying transit when the Lord of your 4th and 7th has gone into the 11th house. 4th Lord gone 8 houses away from himself and in a conjunction with Saturn. So this means that something is putting a stop to your plans, to your financial plans at the moment, and you just have to go along with this. But actually, it's because the opportunity is simply not suitable for you. So some of you thinking of new job changes or promotion at work, it's all going to go a little bit haywire for a while, and it's all due really to you having the wrong end of the stick. You think it's a really good opportunity, but when you look under the covers, as it were, you'll see it's not so bright and shining at all. Same goes for any domestic changes you're thinking of making now, because Mercury is your 4th house lord. Any of you seeking to move home, make renovations to your home changes, they're going to come completely unstuck in this Mercury retrograde period. But again, it's a silver lining because there's more to it than actually meets the eye, and things will just have to be done again in a much more constructive way. So moving home and changing home will definitely be delayed, but probably for the good. So avoid any major domestic renovations, I would say, during this whole Mercury retrograde period. It's probably the best move. If you have children, there's some difficulties with them now because of Mercury and Shani putting pressure onto this fifth house. But again, you need new information about their situation, which will become available to you during the 23rd, 24th combustion of Mercury with the Sun. Whatever you do, Pisces, avoid speculation at this time. Mercury aspecting fifth house makes you in a risk-taking mood financially. Don't do it because it's just going to increase the amount of worry in your life rather than helping you. Watch for misunderstandings and mishaps in your friendship network circles, even with your colleagues at work. These misunderstandings cause you a little bit of distress, and even with your partner, because Mercury is your seventh house lord, there can be misunderstandings at this time. But with patience, you're actually going to find that some good information comes to you through other people unexpectedly, because this 11th house retrograde Mercury shows the way to future gain for you. So listen carefully to all those conversations. You will actually hear something to your real benefit at this time. On your screen right now, check out 2022 overall predictions for all signs on my channel. And if you're new here, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.